Well, here we are. 1955 S-roll, Saturday afternoon. Everybody's out washing their cars, walking their dogs, or doing whatever. And here I sit with a roll of coins. That's okay. I'll wait a few minutes and then I'll get started. See if anybody else shows up on the immediate notification that I have gone live. Otherwise, I'll just keep my show to myself. And well, I'll just do it. Hello, Jeremy. You're the first to show. I'm going to give it a few more minutes and see if anybody else wants to show up. How's the afternoon treating you? Hello, Mr. Harmon. Adam. Good and hot. Yep. That's about what it's like around here. Good and hot. Hello, Pickle. And Mr. Hall is here as well. I'm almost ready to get started. I'm going to go ahead and finish pocketing all of my flip inserts, and then I'll be ready to go. I've got this gorgeous 1955 S-roll here. I always get excited about doing 1955S because, well, there's not really a whole lot of double die action to pay attention to, but there definitely is one RPM in particular that I would dance to find a roll of. Oh, it's okay, Scott. Here's the deal with these. I create these shows mostly because my initial intent with them was to just prove that I was on the up and up about how I did this. That I wasn't seeding the rolls, that I was opening original rolls only, that sort of thing. And over time, it transferred itself into being an educational show that an audience watched. I hadn't really ever planned on it being that. If you watch my first couple of shows that I did, I was simply recording everything. I wasn't trying to be a voice of reason in the numismatic world at all. I was just recording everything, making sure I had it recorded. So, in the very beginning, I never really even thought there'd be any kind of an audience for this. I figured that they would be recorded, they'd be there for you to watch if you wanted to, but they were mainly there for settling disputes or anything to that effect. So, if you can't show live for one of the reveals, that's fine, buddy. We got more of them coming up, that's for sure. We do have one more for today. It's going to be 9 p.m. tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That's going to be the 1937 D roll. That one should be really fun. Hopefully, anyway. I'm almost done with this, and I think I'm just about ready to get started. There's Farm Dog. There's Jeff Dunn. There's Eric Beyer. And I told you, if I started this thing up, everybody would show up. If you start it, they will come. So I was thinking, I started this thing, there wasn't one single audience member. Usually there's people waiting on me, but today there weren't. So I was figuring, okay, well, everybody's out enjoying their weekend. Why not? Right? So I'll do this show alone if I need to. And looky here. All of a sudden, we got 17 people watching. All right, so let's get started with this. I have 50 flips with inserts are ready to go. All numbered and there for your pleasure. I have a 1955S bank wrapped roll. It is a Fed Reserve wrapped roll, and it's so dark you can't even see it on that camera. It's right there. It's almost black as tar, but it's there. It's a dark reddish pink, kind of grayish color. All right, it's a dark pinkish gray, I'll say. The lettering looks almost like it's that old blue mimeograph lettering. Get all of our names in the bag and get it all shook up. This one's got a cardboard plate on one end. And on the other end, you can read the year and mint of the roll. Should be a very interesting experience. And we've got the roll open. And the roll comes over the coins. Yo Mangold, Joe McBride, Curtis, Pendicio? Is that right, Pendicio? I like to pronounce everyone's name right. So if you give me an indication as to the pronunciation of your name, I will forever remember it. Everyone here can tell you for sure that I'll ask, and then I'll get it right the next time, that's for sure. Close? Is it what, Pendicio? Pendicio? I don't know. All right, here we go. Coin number one. Coin number one will go to Jeff Dunn. Pendicio. Got it right the second time. All right, this one does appear to be possibly an RPM, so let me wipe off just a little bit of the crudiness around the date and mint mark. We'll plop it back under there and we'll take a better look. Yep, that's an RPM. You can see the doubling on the upper curve of the mint mark. So this is going to be the first die for the roll. So we're going to call this die 1 for this roll. Let me see if I can find any decent markers. Okay, there's a die scratch going between the 1 and the 9 of the date. There's another die scratch up above the 9, but this one going from the 1 to the 9 of the date should be enough for us to be able to tell what we're doing with this particular die. So I am going to mark it as such by placing it in a special pile next to me on my slide tray. Let's take a look at the reverse and make sure there's nothing going on with the reverse that we need to have any concern about. This was the roll end coin, so it's a little bit darker than the other one should be. Whoa, 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 whoa. Congrats, Jeff. Let's see. Huh? Am I missing something? What did Jeff say? I don't see that Jeff said anything. Is it way up there? No. Hey, Chuck. Hey, Farm Dog. Hey, Scott Hall. I'm missing a comment. Evidently, Jeff Dunn was able to say something that I didn't catch. That's weird. I'm on live chat. Huh. Congratulations to Jeff on getting the RPM. Man, am I stupid or what? Oi, oi, oi. Okay, there we go. That's coin number 1 for the roll. Let's take a look at coin number 2. Coin number 2, John Brandon Bow. Let's see what John Brandon Bow is going to get. Okay, I need to practice my focus skills here. Okay, that's about as good as it's going to get. There is a tripled eyelid for the 1955S that is a known double die. That's DDO number 1. There's about 9 different known repunch mint marks for the series, or for the issue. And so we take a look at both sides, and here's why. My reasoning for looking at both sides isn't necessarily always just to look for double dies. My reasoning for looking at both sides is to also see if there's any error issues that need to be discussed. Anything special that we may not have been able to see from the obverse alone. I am aware that there are no known double die reverses for 1955S, but that doesn't stop me from looking. Thomas. What do we have? Okay, I'm not seeing anything with the mint mark area. Nothing on the date. No double die lid. No hub doubling anywhere else. We do have the beginning of a buy starting here. You can see a little tiny die chip on the corner of the E. And that's eventually probably going to wear itself all the way around to the B and pop out, and it will become a buy error. So those are not uncommon for 1955. Not especially common, but they're not uncommon either. Alright, there we go. That's the obverse and reverse of coin number 3. Now moving on to coin number 4. Dun, 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 dun. Who gets it? Coin number 4 goes to Jim Fletcher. Jim Fletcher, and here we go. See nothing on the obverse. Here's a good reason why I go through the rolls more than one time. There was a 1958D roll that we went through this past week where I caught about 15 coins out of the roll as being RPMs. So I was going through and I was photographing and sorting the roll out by die. I found 7 additional coins in the roll that belonged to the 3 different RPMs that I had pulled while we were going through it. So sometimes I just get blind. I don't see what I'm looking for in this particular camera. So I turn my attention to the microscope instead. That definitely helps me out. Eric Beyer gets coin number 5. This is coin number 5. Let's start yanking a marker out of this stuff so I can tell what I've seen before. I think I see a die scratch. You know, there's some east and west die scratches up here in the throat and chin area, but I think I see one coming straight up off the 1. I do. There's a die scratch coming straight up off the 1 that we're going to hold near and dear as the marker for this particular die, in the event that we don't see something better to use. Okay, this one's got the little busted E too, so this one's the same as the other coins that we've seen. Well, I don't know exactly how many total out of the 58 roll, but we got 2 dies that there's at least 3 each, and then another die that there's probably 15 of. So probably close to 20, close to half the roll was RPMs. So the chief takeaway on this particular coin is that you have a die chip on the corner of the E of Liberty. And I don't like having markers that are so far away from the date and mint area, but it is what it is. Sometimes that's what you get. Let me stick Eric's name in this one. And draw another name. Drawing Xander. Let's get ready to see this one. This one looks like it's going to be the same thing again. Nope, it's not. Not the same die. It's close to the 5. Looks like there's a die dot underneath the S. Maybe. Looks like there's one under the 5. There is one under the 5 for sure. There's a nice die dot underneath the 5 is going, the second 5 that is. There's one above and below the second 5. So we'll use that as our chief marker for this particular die. There's also a die gouge underneath the B of VDB. Let's keep taking a look around and see what else we see. Got no doubled eyelid. Let's take a look at the reverse. There's a little bit of staining on this side. Just a couple of little stains. We've still got coins here that grade in excess of MS65. So this is a very nice roll. There's nothing wrong with this roll at all. I can't have music in these things, so I can't entertain people with anything. I don't sing. Or I'd entertain you with a rendition of God Bless America or something. The very best I can do is talk through what I'm doing. Talk through it and show you what I'm doing. This one's got the die dot below the 5, so this is the same die as just the last one we saw. So there's not going to be anything there. Not going to be any doubling on the reverse either. But never know when you get a good struck through. You know, you could have a normal obverse and then flip it over to the reverse and you've got a retained struck through staple or some really bizarre, weird thing. Obverse looks completely normal. I've seen it many times before where you have errors that one side looks perfectly normal and the other side all messed up. So that's why I make sure I look at the obverse and reverse of every coin I search. Every single one. Andrew O'Neill, Black Cloud Mining. This one's an RPM. Say yay, RPM. You can see it right there on the left side of the upper curve. I do believe this is going to be the same RPM that we already saw today. There's your connector between the 1 and the 9, I do believe. Gonna have to get that other coin back out and take a look for a marker. Again, there is a long die scratch straight out from the nose. Straight out from the tip of the nose. Let's see if we've got that on the other coin. Long die scratch straight out from the tip of the nose. This one could be a different die, so we're going to look at the other one to be sure. Here is the other die. We're going to have to refocus to get it in there just right. Long die scratch from the tip of the nose I'm looking for. And, well, with all that toning, it's really kind of hard to see. Really kind of hard to tell. The connector between the 1 and the 9 is a little bit different than the other one. So we're going to use position of the mint mark to see what we're doing. Well, that top of the S is almost directly southwest. Purely southwest of the 5. It is rather close to the 5, a little bit further away from the 9, and the right side of the S is perfectly in line with the left side of the 5. So, let's try that here. Well, what do you know? It's different. I do believe this is a different die. As your S is, it may be the same one. I'm just going to have to stack them together and pick them apart later. There's got to be a marker around here somewhere that will tell me for sure that these are the same die or that these are different dies. So I'm just going to go ahead and stack them together for now. But this one's going to be Andrew O'Neill, Black Cloud Mining gets this one. Hello, Thomas. We've pulled one coin for you already, and it was a normal coin. We seem to be finding what appears to be 1 RPM. We're on our second example of that 1 RPM. And we're looking for more, but we have not yet found anything. But we're only at coin number 9. And let's see who gets coin number 9. Deanne gets coin number 9. Let's see what we have here. Yeah. This one appears to be an RPM, yet a different RPM though. This is definitely not the same die. Let's see if we can find something around here that'll give us a really good shot at being able to identify additional specimens of this. This appears to be an S over S East with the split in the upper serif, and yeah, it's definitely an S over S East. Let me zoom in here and take a better look at it. Definitely have we definitely have not seen this die yet. And move in and get a good focus on it. This one appears to be RPM number 2 or number 3. Definitely an RPM though. No question about it, and it does not match the RPM that we've already pulled. So this is a second RPM for the roll. It's going to be die number 2. Die number 2 for this roll. Get my lighting back down to a non-sunglass glare level. And keep looking around on the coin to see what else we can come up with, if anything. There's a little tiny die crack coming off the B of Liberty, off the bottom corner of the B of Liberty, headed toward the rim. May or may not be able to see that in additional coins, so I'm not going to use it as a marker. Yeah, the right wheat will tell me for sure. Yeah, that's right. 'Tis true. That break was early. Okay, well, we're not going to really find a marker. And we got nothing on the right wheat. So I'm not really sure. It could be just an earlier die state example of number 2. But we've got nothing on the reverse. Let's just call this the nice S over S East with no markers. That's got to be die number 2 for the roll. Under the U in trust. What would be under the U in trust? What would I be looking for? Oh, nice. Did you just pick that up? Or did you read that in a book somewhere? That is a nice dot attached to the U in trust. That's going to be our marker for this one. Thank you very much, sir. Yo, man, you're not a bad guy. No matter what they say about you. He picked it up while we were looking. Well, I must be pretty good at driving because you're pretty good at picking them up. All right, Mr. Patat. Mr. Patat gets coin number 10 in the roll. Yeah, I don't listen to him. I don't listen to anybody. This one is going to turn out to not be an RPM. This one's probably our dot on the E. Nope. This one's a little bit further east, actually, than the dot on the E. It is not an RPM. I don't think we've seen this die since we've been paying attention to the different dies. We do have some diagonal die scratches up in the area of a rust of trust. That looks like a large die marker right there, or a hit on the coin, one or the other. Now that appears to possibly be a pretty large die marker right there under the space between in God. I tell you what, it seems kind of boring to pick markers on coins that have nothing on them, but I tell you what, it really helps you as you're going through rolls. It helps you pick markers, first of all. Oh, this one's got the die dot below the 5. We've seen this one before. Seen this die before. But it also helps you be sure that you're picking out all the examples of something, even ones that have damage on them, in the area that you'd be looking. Because you're unlikely to have damage that will cover your area of characteristic and your markers as well. So, always a good idea to pick up markers on everything to be able to tell what you're doing, to know how many different dies you've got picked up in a roll. This one is not going to be an RPM. Not an RPM. It does have a very heavy die scratch coming east out of the Y, and it's got another one going southwest out of the T. So this one will be easy to figure out later on. But we just got nothing there. Nothing there to call a shot on. Take a look at In God We Trust here real quick. Flip the coin over and take a look at the other side. Yeah, we've got plenty of north and south die scratches on this side, but otherwise nothing. All right. Coin number 12 now. Coin number 12 will go to Jim Fletcher. And Jim Fletcher gets this one right here. There's our East RPM again. Does it have it? It does. Nice marker, yo man. Did a good job picking that one. So this is our East RPM. It is die number 2 for the roll. We have 2 different RPMs now that we're chasing. For sure 2, possibly 3. Alright. No big error or anything on this, but this is going to be a die number 2 for Jim Fletcher. Now on to die number 3. Jeff Dunn. Congratulations, Jeff. That was a dumb move on my part. Okay, we got a 55S here without any doubling on the mint mark or the date. Let's check the E. No, let's check below the 5. There it is. There it is. That's one of the normal dies. So it just makes it that much easier when you know that you've seen the die before. You're not straining your eyes looking for anything special. You're just looking around for the major error flaws that would make a coin valuable. Otherwise, you have a quote-unquote normal coin. Normal coin that will probably go for a normal value at normal premium at whatever the coin grades. And this particular coin is a nice MS65 red. Could be a little higher. Generally at 66 I call the shot when I can't really see much of anything wrong with it at all. Thomas 2 TT. Let's see, what do we have here? Well, this is the one where the S comes directly underneath the 5, and I think we failed to find any real die markers on this. Nope, this one's the little dot on the E. So, as we learn more about the dies that we're examining, we know that this is one of the normal dies. So we move on to the other side and see what we see there. Ladies and gentlemen, we briefly paused this program for station identification. You're watching the Copper Coins channel on YouTube. Advertise the channel once in a while. Could probably do it in a much less dramatic fashion. Okay, this is going to have our U dot. There it is. There's the U dot, and if the U dot got damaged, we have an R dot too. We got a dot right in between the R and the U. There it is. You can see it directly in between the R and the U. I tell you what, folks, I always come to these events with my throat all cleared out, everything ready to go, and then for some reason karma hits me. As soon as I start my program, I start getting my throat all clogged up. This is a number 9. Okay, so this one was the die 2, so it's going to be number 9. Awesome. including the U dot. So it matches the U dot. Mr. Fletcher. Mr. Fletcher will get the next coin. So we know that one. This one's going to be the E dot. Right there. The E dot. That dot is a little tiny die chip on the corner of the E that looks like at some point probably ended up swimming its way around and connecting to the B. Or in that case, it would probably turn up, breaking out completely and becoming a bi error. So this would be the first stage of a bi error if you can connect the dots between progression. So there you go. It's interesting. Sireg. There's another RPM 9 right there. As Eric has properly identified it. There's your marker. Your U dot. As Yomangul had found it, Eric identified it. And so we got team effort going on here. But this one's for Sireg. A couple of little stains on the coin here and there. A couple of little marks. That was a pretty nice coin. This one's going to grade out at a 63 red. But it's a known RPM. That makes it kind of special. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4. We now have 4 of this RPM number 9, and we've only got 2 of our die 1 for the day, which appeared to me to be RPM 2, but I don't think it is RPM 2. It may be RPM 3. TT, Thomas, gets another coin right here. And this one is not an RPM. It's going to have the dot under the 5. Yep, there it is right there. Dot under the 5 dot coin. So we've got a U dot, an E dot, and a 5 dot. See how easy that is? There's a die gouge underneath the VDB that we've seen before. Well, I'll flip her over and take a look at the other side and see what happened on the other side. This is actually die damage. I've seen a few of these now. So if we were all questionable about what was going on the obverse, then we've got this die dot right here on the reverse. To help identify what you have. Find as many die markers as you can find. Because it doesn't cost any extra money to find additional die markers on your coins. And it certainly helps a cataloging system to have them on there. Okay, this one's the die. Let's see. It's not the die dot coin. I thought it was a die dot coin at first. This one's not the E dot. It's not going to be the U dot either. So this one's going to be a lone wolf. And this lone wolf is not an RPM. It does not appear to be an RPM. It is not an RPM. So we'll have to find a marker that'll tell us. There's a heavy die dot right above the first 5 of the date. Die dot, you can see at almost any angle. Right up there above the 5. Well, not that angle. There we go. It lit up right there. So we've got a die dot above the first 5 of the date on this particular die that has nothing else to sport. Let's check the eye real quick, just to be sure. I've had these things prove me wrong before, so let's take a look at the reverse and see if we happen to have the unknown double die reverse. And we do not have the unknown double die reverse. Man, that's a gouge. That's a serious scratch right there. Man, that bristle had long fingernails. You don't feel tardy. You don't feel tardy because I'm helping everyone with full explanation of everything as we go through the roll. Is that correct? Is that why you don't feel tardy? Okay, we have another of die number 1 again. There's a nice little split in the upper part of the curve. I feel you, brother. I feel you. I know your language. Let's see. We have a die crack actually on the lapel. A die crack on the lapel to more easily be able to determine. I guess that die mark that I saw between the 1 and the 9 on that coin number 1, well, it was just part of the toning. So I'm having to look for other markers that will help me. Hey, look, there's a die dot behind the shoulder. Right there, right in the protected area of the field. You're going to see that on every one of these. Die dot behind the shoulder. So this is going to be a die number 1 again for the roll. If anybody wants to take a little quick snapshot and see if they can identify the RPM itself. Hello, Mr. Hampton. Let me get this up into space right there. Let me focus it in really well. Now let me turn the light up for you. If anybody wants to give a shot at trying to identify this little puppy. There it is, right there. Alright, I'll move it back out. Got a die dot behind the shoulder, and that's really the only marker I was able to determine with any real certainty. Looks like we have some diagonal die scratches running through the field in this area, but they're very light and very difficult to detect. And I got nothing else. Got nothing else for you. Okay, there's something I saw on one of the coins. This is an old die gouge coming out of the shoulder, headed northwest. It's pointed directly at the E of Liberty. I've seen this around before. Look at United States. What am I looking for? Okay, there's a little area, looks like die damage there next to the D. I don't see anything else really. Keep looking around up here, see if I have any real markers. There's an old die scratch between the U and the R. This one's RPM 4. Is that because of this, that hump between the D and the S? Okay. All right, good. So we've got both of these identified now. We have an RPM 4 and an RPM 9. RPM 4 is die 1, so we're just going to start calling it RPM 4 at this point. So we have RPM 4 as die 1, RPM 9 is die 2. Thank you, Eric. And look at this. We get your name. Do we get an RPM for you? Hey, there we go. So it was RPM 9s, I do believe. Is it? Do we have the U dot? We don't have the U dot. Wait a minute, what am I looking at here? I thought I saw an RPM out of that. Oh, man. That was just wishful thinking. Just wishful thinking. Well, what are we looking at, though? Because this is brand new to me. Got these die scratches between the 9 and the bow tie. The 1 and the bow tie. That's one I haven't seen before in this roll. So it is a nothing. Yeah, definitely. We have not seen this. We've got die cracks coming off the top and bottom of the B of Liberty. It's definitely a new die to us. Let's see what we have here. Hairy frogs. Finest frogs here. Oh, there you go. Sorry about that, Eric. Got you a normal coin there. I guess that's going to happen once in a while now, isn't it? Here's Mr. Patet. Mr. Patet picks up this coin. Dun, 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 dun. Hello, Shannon McCord. Yeah, we've been finding RPMs all through this roll so far. A pretty good job of it. This one does not happen to be one of them. We've seen this particular die before because we have our Y scratch and our T scratch. So this is a Y scratch T scratch coin. We've been given names to all of these things. It is not an eyelid. Alright, let's take a look to the other side. Hey, remember that? Real long fingernail scratch. That reminds me of when I was a little kid and I'd get a sunburn. My sister would take her fingernail and scratch me down the back just to remove skin and make it sting. My sister loved me. How many strikes on average per die? If a die turns out living its full life, we would be talking about 150,000, maybe 200,000, upwards to 400,000 or 500,000. I've heard 1 million before, but I doubt you can get 1 million coins out of a die. Hey, there we go. Is it? It is. So is this the RPM 4 then? Let's see, what do we use as a marker for that? What was our marker? Oh, we do have that. Yeah, it's not very usable though. Oh, I remember. I have to flip it over to see the marker. There it is. Right there. Cuds do have to come from someplace. But when you see a cud, is it a girl cud or a boy cud? How do you know? As coin number 23 for Shannon McCord is a copy of RPM number 4. Yay! Got another RPM out of the roll. Sureg. Let's get Sureg's coin out and see what it looks like. And it is another RPM. Yay! And the crowd goes wild. We need to find a marker on this side. It's driving me nuts. Going all nutso on you here. There we go. There's an ODOT. That's the Ohio Department of Transportation. We have an ODOT. Got a dot below the O of God. We're going to check the reverse on this one anyway. But now I found myself a little marker. I found an ODOT. There is a crack on the lapel, but I don't like using those when they're on the high ridge, because they can easily be damaged out so that you can't see them, or additional damage can come onto any coin and make it look a little bit like a die crack on the high ridge. So I don't really like high ridge die cracks. So this is another RPM number 4 for Sureg. And there's that. Move on now to coin number 25, Andrew O'Neill Black Cloud Mining. And we have another RPM 9. Another RPM 9 should have a dot on the U of trust. Boing, there it is. Let's take a look around and see if there's any error stuff worth dealing with on this one. So we have 2 different RPMs in this roll. They're coming out quite well. We have at least 6 or 7 of each of them now. Whoever's calling me is going to have to learn to call when I'm not broadcasting, because I don't look at my phone when I'm broadcasting. I will call them back because it can't be important enough to take my attention away from you. Jeff Stanley. It's the next coin. I'm having too much fun with this roll. I don't want to answer the phone. There's another number 4. Yay! That's like 4 or 5 RPMs in a row now. And for that, we picked a marker. It was an O dot. And we have the O dot. We do have the O dot. Houston, we have the O dot. So good thing. Let's take a look for our little hump between the D and the S, and it is there. Check between the letters of liberty and on the 9. Between what letters of liberty exactly? We've got a what? Got that die gouge below the 9, or below the Y. That's pointed toward the E. Between the R and T. Little tiny connective die crack between the lower R and T. Is that what I'm looking for? It was a dot. Oh, okay, so is that a dot next to the R right there? We talking about next to the very bottom of the R? That little thing? And a blemish off the 9. We've got a die scratch going straight up and down inside the 9. Is it a blemish like... let me get turned around that direction. Like that off the left side of the 9? Pointed toward the 1 there. There is a die scratch between the 1 and the 9. Off the bottom tip. Well, I do see something there, but it doesn't necessarily look like anything I'm going to pick out. It's there. Okay. Excuse me for a second while I cough up a lung. I'm back. Thank you. Get this thing in focus. So now for this one, we should be able to flip it over and we should be able to see that. See, that looks like a die crack, but it's probably a scratch right there on the vest. And then there's this thing. See, this coin doesn't have it, so it could actually have been doubling. Damage as a little bit of a hit. But this is definitely a good marker because it's showing up on every coin. I like that marker. Well, let's go around and see if there's anything around to take a look at. You are getting sleepier and sleepier. So that's Jeff Stanley's example. And moving right along to the next coin will be Kevin Speaks. Kevin Speaks gets the next one. Let's take a look at it and see what it is. Oh, not an RPM. This one is going to be that die that was really hard to identify anything on. It's got the north and south die cracks off the B. As you can see, let me bring my brightness back down to human level. Oh, they're there. You can see them right there. So this one's going to be a normal coin. There's my chief marker right there. Nice long die scratch between the 9 and the center of the bow tie. Unique coins for unique people. The Copper Coins channel. Bam, 94.8 FM. Bam, 97.1 FM. I don't know, I'm just having fun. Just having fun, Mama. Not doing anything to hurt anybody. John Brandon Bow. There you go. Bam, the die. Not an RPM again. This one is going to have the E dot. No, it doesn't. Well, it's got the gouge down there, so we know it's not one of the good ones. Yeah, got nothing going on there. So I'll flip it over. WDIE. Bam. The die. Double dies and RPMs for everyone. Next coin up my sleeve will be number 29. God, we've gone a long time on this show. Having fun with it. Just leave us alone. We're having fun. Paul Hampton. He gets a die number 9. There we go. That's going to have the U dot. Oing, doing, U dot. Nothing special. Otherwise, this is a very nice coin. Quite well struck. Just a tad bit of toning on the reverse. Notice I said that without practice this time. On the reverse. That word's harder for me to pronounce than gargalyeme, which is Greek for tickle. Son of a silver stacker. Look who's here. My dog is sitting under me. He is not saying yeme because he doesn't know how to pronounce it. Well, looks to me like, boys and girls, we have another normal coin sitting on our hands here. So I'll flip it over and take a look at the reverse and see if anything happened on the other side of the coin. And other than a slightly weak strike, I see nothing else going on here. The weak strike is evidenced by this weak patch in America, which if you flip the coin over, it's directly opposite his forehead and ear area. And then if you come up here, your O and sometimes your PLU are going to be weak. That's because it's directly opposite the shoulder. The highest relief areas of a coin are the very last parts to strike up. So if you have a weak strike, all your highest relief is going to be the most affected. And anything opposite those high relief areas. Xander gets the next coin. It's going to be coin number 31. This is going to be an E dot. Boing. There it is. That's the E dot. Unfortunately, it's not a double die. It's not an RPM. But that doesn't stop us from looking for planchet errors or striking errors, both of which can occur with completely normal dies. And more importantly, both can occur only on one side of the coin. Now, this little thing on the top of the N of cent, where it gets real fuzzy and you start to lose definition on the edges, that's part of a indirect die transfer error. It's not really an error that It's an anomaly more than it's an error. Nobody collects these as errors. But that's where Lincoln's throat comes through. And there's such a change in relief on the other side of the coin in that area that it actually affects the design on this side of the coin in the same area. This is basically when you're looking at a clash in the throat. This is what you're looking at. It's this part of the N. There's a clash in the throat. So is there a clash in the throat? We didn't notice that. Nope, no clash in the throat on this one. They successfully polished it out with all these little polish lines that you see running basically east and west here. But that mark does still show on the N. There's no way to correct that. Basically just retire the die. So, because they didn't want to... Yeah, her throat punch. Because they didn't want to retire a die before it really had to be retired. You see that issue. There's another E dot. Another E dot coin. And let's take a look at the other side. And the other side will bring us a relatively normal strike this time. But there's your thing on the end where the throat clash was. Now you can start to see the shape of the throat backwards and upside down. That's what it is. Backwards and upside down. That's what happens when you get a clash. And then you mint a coin with the clash. Starts out upside down, then it turns backwards when you get it onto a coin. That was Shannon McCord. Let's take a look at who gets coin number 33. Coin number 33 goes to Kevin Speaks. Kevin Speaks. Now, let's see what we've got going on here. There's a number 9. You should have the U dot. And we do have the U dot. Nice clean coin. Like this one. Very nice condition. A couple of little spots next to the last A of America. Very slightly weak strike. Other than that, man, you got nearly a perfect coin here. Very nice. Take a look at that sucker. Oh yeah. Really, really nice. This is a 66 red, if not better. Hello, Cajun. Let me go ahead and set you up as a moderator on the channel, because everybody's a moderator on the channel who's not a troll. You're not a troll, so I have one other guy I needed to get set up. Here's Jimmy. Oh no, I got one other one. Here we go, Curtis. I get you guys set up as not trolls. There we go. Okay, next up is coin number 34. Coin number 34, Farm Dog. Let's see what we get for Farm Dog. This one's different. Not seen this kind of die scratches yet today. A very interesting looking die. Let's get closer. Well, I don't see anything here that's going to force me to call this an RPM, but it certainly looks unusual. Let's flip it back out to the close view. The other one is a super close view. We don't have a third view, just a close and a super close. So this will be the first coin of this die we've run into in this roll. It's got a lot of markers all over it. Very, very different from the other ones that we've seen so far. Let's see what we have going on here. if anything at all. Take a little bit of special close look on the first time around with a particular die. Now that I know this die, I know I can basically skip looking for doubling on the reverse because there's none there. Now let's go with Farm Dogs. Number 34, move on to number 35 and see what we got on number 35. Number 35 is for James Worley. James Worley gets coin number 45. Let's take a look at it. It's going to be an E-dot coin. There is our E-dot. And got no other error things going on this side, so let's flip it over and take a look at the other side. Don't know about that Cajun guy? Yeah. Well, that Cajun guy, one of these days, he's going to take me out to a good etouffee dinner. Get me some gumbo. Maybe even head over to Nolan's, get a beignet. Either way around, he's going to treat me right if I make it to Louisiana. All right, that's for Mr. Worley. Let's take a look at the next one. Farm Dog. Farm Dog. Yeah, there we go. Get a number 9. Got a number 9. Got a U dot. Got a U dot. That's a number 9. Magically delicious. There we go. Get our lighting right so you can see the next one that comes up, because that was nearly invisible. So it's a number 9. I might even have to come down from Mardi Gras. But I don't want to do the New Orleans style Mardi Gras. I want to do the real Cajun style Mardi Gras. New Orleans style is too commercialized. Next up, Adam Connor. Here's another one of those. Well, that's the second one of those we've run into now. Wow, look at that die scratch next to the 5. There's some super duper markers for this thing, but, well, it's not a double die and not an RPM. So we move on to the reverse. Take a look around the reverse and see if we see anything special, big, or unusual that needs to be mentioned. I'll be able to hear my dog snoring now. He's decided to go to sleep. He makes a little bit of noise when he sleeps. I'll just let you know that now. Let's go on to coin number 38. Coin number 38 will belong to Mr. Patat. It is a die number 9. There is a die number 9 right there, and our U dot. Nice coin. There's a little tiny hairline split going off the bottom of the B there. It's a little crack. You don't have to fret about me and Cajun. If I get down there to Cajun country, he's going to take care of me. I may have to go out and shoot a snake or something. That's for dessert. Shoot a snake. That's strange what that is. That looks like pure zinc. That's a strange little line on the coin. It's definitely embedded into the coin. And it's a pure silver battleship grayish metal. So it would be zinc because tin would be silver colored. Zinc comes out kind of gray colored. You can hear my dog? Well, he likes to snore. He'll start snoring standing up. Poor kid. Alright, what did we end up with there? Was that a die number 9? Did I almost put that in the wrong stack? Yeah, it is. And I almost did. I almost put it in the wrong place. Now we're going to put it in the right place. Well, hey there, Bigfoot. Everybody hears we got a good roll going on, and they want to show up and see what's going on with it. We got a good roll going on here. You guys will have to wait till the stats at the end. Come on, Chucky, find some. Let's see, this is not one of the die varieties. This one's a normal coin here. This is our mysterious little die that has the die cracks off the top and bottom of the B. Right there. So we're going to check this one for error stuff. Anything particular about striking or otherwise. See what's going on. And we got nothing in error on the reverse. So that's coin number 39. Gonna bag it and tag it and move on to the next one. And Eric Beyer comes up next. Eric Beyer, who is a great help in identifying these RPMs, but doesn't seem to be able to get one of them. This one's going to be our mysterious little B die crack die again, I'm pretty sure. And it is. Give every die a name. Give it a name that has to do with your marker. It'll help you. I promise. It'll help you. That's why we have an O dot, a E dot, a U dot, mysterious B crack. We've got the 5 dot. I don't know how many that is. It's 6, I think. 5 or 6 different dies that we've found in this so far, and I think we might have 7 total. Yo Man gets this one. What is it? It's a die number 4, I do believe. So you can't really see the doubling really well, but I can see the thickness on the S, and we're going to be able to check this against markers. Because we've got that hella nice marker on the reverse side. There's the O dot. You can see the O dot. Now we're going to check the reverse side, and we should have a raised hump between the D of United and the S of States. There it is. Right there. We've got a die number 4 on our hands. Another one. Well, we're getting a pretty good stack over here of these things. We really are. We're doing pretty good with this roll. I see if you take each of these RPMs and you sell them at $5 a whack, you're talking about a few $100s for this roll. Adam Connor. What does Adam Connor get? Oh, he gets an E dot. That's a nothing. There's your E dot. And it's not going to have any doubling. That's got an interesting little greaser going on there. That's what that patch of inconsistency is. It's grease on the die. And all these little lines right here, well, they happen to be crowded around a weak spot in the design. And the reason for that is because that's what the planchet looks like before it's struck. So that did not get all of the scratches and mars and other oddity stuff struck completely out of the planchet when it was struck by the die. All right, there's Mr. Connor. Coin number 42. Now for coin number 43. Coin number 43, we are going to be... let me check this guy again, because my Spidey senses are tweaking on me. Nope. Okay. Sorry about that brief interruption. We interrupt this program for a special report. Oh, let me put his name right side up. You need to be able to read it, not me. There we go. All right. Let me bring this back down into perfect focus so we can see the E-Dot coin. This is an E-Dot coin. It's not going to be a die variety. No variety on this coin. Yeah, sometimes my spidey senses start tweaking. I've got to look something up again. It's actually a very nice way of saying I have OCD and I'm not going to be able to sleep at night until I do this. All right, got nothing on that one. That's coin number 43. We got 7 coins left, folks. 7 coins left to prove our merit on this particular roll. I hope all 7 of them are RPMs. This one goes to Yo Man. Yo Man. I keep wanting to sing Men at Work or something here. Or what was it? YMCA guys. Whoever they were, I can't remember now. Village People. Yo, man. All right, got ourselves another number 9. Number 9. Did you know if you take the Beatles song, Revolution Number 9, and turn it around backwards, it sounds like they're saying, "Turn me on, dead man. Turn me on, dead man." What that was in reference to, evidently, was someone trying to make the song sound backwards like it was an homage to the dead Paul McCartney. Because around the time around the time that song was recorded, Paul McCartney was supposed to have died. Deanne gets the next one up, and it's going to be number 4. That's a nice one, too. You can see that one really well. So being that it's a number 4, it's going to have an O dot. Yeah, there's the O dot. It's kind of a small dot, but it is a dot. You can definitely tell it's an O dot. It's going to be the commemorative to the Ohio Department of Transportation. And let's move over slowly. Dun 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 dun. There it is. Our hump between the D and S is definitely there, so we do definitely have another example of that die. And that's for Adam Chambers. I'm sorry, Deanne. Adam Chambers is on deck. Adam Chambers on deck. Let's see what Adam Chambers gets. Sometimes I accidentally pull out 2 names at once. I just drop one of them and move the other one, and then that one's sitting on top of the bag, and it's like, what are you doing here? Well, Adam Chambers gets one as well. This is a die number 4. Again, let's go look for the Ohio Department of Transportation homage there, which is the O dot right there. Got the O dot. I am weird. I'm one weird dude. All right, we flip it over. We find our marker right in the center of the coin. There it is. I'm not going to say it. You guys know it. That's coin number 46. Adam Chambers. Coin number 47 now. Coin number 47 will go to Adam Chambers again. And so Adam Chambers will pick this coin up, and let's see what it is. Oh, bummer. Remember when I said you guys know it? I'm not going to say it. It was because we ran into a streak of 3 coins in a row that were RPMs. I thought we might be able to close out the roll with all RPMs, and this one is not. This one is the mysterious B-Crack coin. And we have no errors. Slightly weak strike going on there. In fact, the A and the M are almost invisible. The top of the O is nearly invisible. So this one is definitely a weak strike. And that's 47. You got 3 left. 48. 48 goes to Surag. Let's see what Surag gets. And that's coin number 48 for you. And this one is, I believe this is another number 4. Is the O dot there? No, it's not there. So it's not a number 4. I was kind of questioning myself on that too. So this one's going to be the die dot below the 5. No, not the die dot below the 5. Which die is this? No, it's not that one either. Huh. I don't know which die this is. This appears to be a die I haven't seen. Well, we'll just flip it over and check the reverse and move on. We're down to the last 3 coins in the roll. This is number 3. Okay, that's what that is. There's definitely one we've already seen. We're almost finished with the roll. There shouldn't be any new dies at this point. Sureg, coin number 48. Now for coin number 49, we're going to go to Adam Chambers again. Well, there you go. Thought I forgot about you, and all yours are coming down toward the end. Ooh, look at the toning on this baby. It's got some pretty colors. This one is also difficult to determine, so I'm going to, oh, this has got the die dot below the 5, so this is a 5 dot. I'll flip it over and take a look at the other side. The other side has a little bit of toning as well. Just a little bit. Not a whole lot. Just a little bit of silvery color out here toward the outside edge. And that's going to Adam Chambers. And coin number 50. 50. This distinction goes to Shannon. Last coin in the roll. This one has some nice toning on it. This is going to be an E dot. It's not a die variety. There's the E dot. Well, this was a fun roll. This is a really fun roll. We've got nothing else here. Let's take a look at the part that was exposed to the outside of the roll. No big errors going on there. So we'll get that one in a flip for Shannon, then we'll count everything up. Can you say wow? Well, we got ourselves a pretty decent sized pile of normal coins here. It's a little better than half the roll. A little bit more than half the roll. But when we get into these are die number 4. We've got these dies, these coins I mean, 46, 45, 41, 26, 24, 23, 20, 8, and 1. Now I'm going to show you the names just so you know who is who. That's 9 of them. So we've got 9 of those. And then the die number 9, RPM number 9, is 44, 38, 36, 33, 29, 25, 17, 15, 12, and 9. Here's the names. And there's 10 of those. So 9 and 10, 19 RPMs in the roll. I'd say we did pretty well. Very few spots, that's correct. Very nice coins. So there we go. That was a Fed Reserve wrapped roll from the Portland branch of the Seattle Fed Reserve. 1958 Denver coins. Had a plug at one end. At the other end it was open. So there we go. There we have it. I've got another show that's going to be coming up at 9 o'clock this evening. 9 o'clock this evening, we're going to open a 1937 detubed roll that I've not been through before. So we're all going to be surprised by the content of that. And, well, I have a day off basically tomorrow. So I may actually break out a couple of rolls and do some roll digs tomorrow. Not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I may do some roll digs tomorrow. So hang out if you want and watch the channel for new shows to pop up. I do try to create the shows at least a few hours in advance when I get the chance. And I'll see you guys later this evening. It'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Time this evening. Peace out.